my actual eyesight is there's a high drive, deep center, go, 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 we're out of here, say ya, playa!
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2, swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A gold pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
Well, don't you see the smile on my face? You hear the wind blowing, the music in the background. That could only mean one thing. Audubon baseball is back for what will be my third and final full-time season covering the Green Wave full-time. We've got our first of 3 scrimmages that we've got in this last week of March before opening day on April 2nd in Paulsboro. This was supposed to be a team known as the Eagles from Enfield, Connecticut, 3.5 hours up the road. But because of the impending rain on this weekend's events, they decided to cancel their scrimmage along with Saturday's scrimmage versus West Springfield, Massachusetts. Instead, Audubon found another opponent with a head coach being a former Audubon resident. Nick Core and the Clearview Pioneers are in town. They went 9-13 last year under Derek Reagan in one of the most contentious divisions in all of South Jersey, the Tri-County Royal. That division's got powerhouses and sluggers like Gloucester Catholic and Kingsway and GCIT as well. Don't count them out. They play Gloucester City this afternoon. But this is going to be a nice matchup for Audubon in a scrimmage that we haven't seen between these two teams since 2021. When the season was delayed and had a late start due to the COVID pandemic, they scrimmaged in the middle of April, a game that Audubon won 9-6 on April 17th, 2021. And for Clearview tonight, their starting pitcher, Tyler Dell, is a junior who threw 46 pitches in 2 innings last year and is going to look to get some more experience before opening day, because you know who Clearview plays on opening day? Gloucester Catholic, a team that they lost 14-0 to on opening day last year. They're playing the same perennial powerhouse for the second year in a row, except instead of Derek Reagan at the helm, it's Nick Core. Nick Core, of course, he grew up right down the street on West Atlantic Avenue in Audubon. Grew up in Mullica Hill, but lived there for several years, and he's excited to come back to Audubon his first time as a head coach. For the Audubon Green Wave, they're throwing out a familiar arm out there to start the ball game, Joey Slavin, the lefty, who in his only scrimmage appearance last year gave up 10 runs in the first inning versus West Springfield, Mass. But the doubts about Joey have gone out the window. His control from what we've seen in winter workouts has been fixed, and he still throws in the mid to upper 80s. But it doesn't really matter how fast you throw if you can't throw a strike. And Joey Slavin seems to have figured that out, and he will be the starting pitcher for Audubon this afternoon. Clearview will hit 10 hitters, including a couple freshmen, and if you remember, Clearview lost a big name in their backup battery behind the dish. Gage Petrus, a .333 hitter last year as a freshman from Clearview, moved to Florida and is no longer a part of the Pioneers ball club. Of course, Audubon is missing a fair number of players as well because they're all down in Florida. We have a couple of guys that are going to be watching the game from their flight, their Southwest flight back home. So we welcome you to the broadcast if you're watching from Florida or wherever you guys are, because it's going to be a fun game. And even though they're not on the field and they're going to be in the sky, this game is going to be sky high in terms of excitement. We're going to take a quick break. Clearview and Audubon in the opening scrimmage of the 2024 baseball season coming up next right here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's the Audubon Green Wave starting lineup for the afternoon. They're hitting 11 today, with a couple of newcomers in the order as well. You've got Tyler Wiltsey at the leadoff spot, but not in his usual hiding hole of shortstop. He'll be manning the center field position today. Trent Bannell is behind the plate batting second in lieu of Ryan Zimmer, who is on the senior trip. Nick Caladros at third. Joey Slavin is on the hill. Now remember, Joey is a senior, but because he didn't go on the trip, he is allowed to be here, and he is allowed to pitch today. So Lance Furness and Josh Nolan are extra hitters. Connor Jester, the phenom freshman, will be making his debut at first base this afternoon. Gabe McCracken at short, Ronald Homa rounding out the middle infield at second base. Tommy Quinn and Jason Stocklin rounding it out at 10th and 11th in right and left field. Let's take that down and let's take a look at what the Clearview Pioneers with Nick Core are cooking up here this afternoon in our scrimmage debut for 2024. They're going to be starting it out at the top of the order with Tyler Bell. He will be on the hill for the first two innings, and then it will go to, Braden Reeder, who is going to be taking the the third base spot for the remainder of today's game. Batting third will be Chris Wolf, the DH. Batting fourth will be Robert Lagarina, who will take over the second base spot for the first four innings. Andrew Prawn is the fifth hole hitter. Dom Abate at sixth. Pat Jurgen at seventh. Alex Munzenberger in eighth. Ryan Batista in ninth. And Connor Zwan in 10th, with Nick Core as a first-year head coach. Captains and umpires are meeting at home plate here at the beautiful Hank Greenberg Field. Of course, the very familiar feeling for all of us who have covered Audubon baseball over the years, that there have been many games in early April and late March with no leaves on the trees and a very brisk and cold weather. And why is it always that when we have our first scrimmage, it is always cloudy? I wish we would see the sun every once in a while, but umpires are talking it over. Coming out to give one of the lineup cards at least. There's Joey Slavin out there. We'll take a quick break. When these guys take the field, we'll be back in action. We'll be right back. For the first time this year, the Audubon Green Wave are going to get set to take the field, and for one of the final times in their traditional green and gold jerseys. They're going to be switching to a bright yellow top and pants combo in 2024, but for now, we'll be seeing them in the traditional uniforms that we've known and loved for the past 5 or 6 years by now. The track and field practice going on behind us. The javelins and the throwers are moving along, and so are the Audubon infielders and outfielders. We are back for baseball in 2024, and Joey Slavin is back on the hill. As we said, his first couple of games last year were not all that favorable but he was able to make amends for it over the offseason. He's worked his velocity up to 87 miles per hour, and now he is poised to make a big mark in the Audubon rotation if he can get himself some more strikes. Like we said, you know, that West Springfield scrimmage is still very much ingrained in my head when he gave up 8 runs in the first. The relief man after him gave up another 2, so it was 10 earned runs total, and it wasn't a good look, but he took that lesson with stride. He took that painful moment with a lot of stride, and now he is setting himself up for success as a senior in 2024. It's the Audubon Green Wave and the Clearview Pioneers. Your first 3 for the Clearview Pioneers tonight will be Tyler Dell, as we said, Brandon Ryder, and Chris Wolf. They are the first 3 to bat for Clearview on this brisk Thursday afternoon. We've got some decent crowd on hand. You can see the grandstands behind Joey are filling up a little bit, as they always have for Audubon scrimmages, even when the regular season hasn't started yet, and even when the games don't count in the scorebooks, we still get a faithful crowd nonetheless. As we said, a couple of debuts today. Connor Chester will make his debut at first base for the Green Wave. He has been somebody that Audubon, you know, circles have talked about for years as the next big star, the next big thing. And obviously when it comes to high school sports, it's hard to judge anybody as the next big thing or the next big anything. But the 6'4", right-handed hitting first baseman, he has himself a great career ahead of him if he plays his cards right. And with a logjam at first base this year for Audubon, with Joey Slavin, Connor Chester, and Hunter Lowe in the mix, and you could even argue some other guys like Nick Caladros are also in the mix down there as well. But that is what scrimmages are for. That is what practice is for, and that's what these drills are made to do, which is to make sure that the players who are playing well deserve get their playing time. So the infield meets with Joey Slavin, and he will face Tyler Dell for his first at-bat of 2024. The left-handed senior has pumped the velocity quite a bit in his junior year over the offseason, and now he's going to get back to work. Now, this is going to make it a little confusing. We've got a green-on-green matchup here, but all we see is green. First pitch, high and away, and we are underway in 2024. 1-0 to Tyler Dell. The class of 25 sophomore, 6 foot, 185, batted .250 in 2023, a drop from his .373 freshman average, as that's a ball, 2-0. He had 2 home runs in his freshman year, none in his sophomore year, but he still holds a .450 career slugging percentage and a .311 career batting average as a member of the Pioneers. There's a strike. 2-1. In the 2022 season, his homers came against Timber Creek on May 3rd, 2022, and in the last game of the season versus Millville on May 25th. 2-1 to Dell. He will throw the first 2 innings this afternoon. That one misses a touch high, and it's 3-1. As we said, a couple of newcomers in the field and a couple of Jaybirds from last year are on the Audubon docket tonight, as that's going to be a 5-pitch walk to Tyler Dell, and that puts a runner on for Brendan Ryder, the third baseman, here for the first couple of innings this afternoon. So Ryder is about to step in. A loose ball in right field, probably from the pitchers and catchers throwing, was was left unattended. Nobody saw it until now, so good thing it didn't come into play. Runner on first after the opening walk to Tyler Dell. First pitch to Ryder, misses 1-0. So So 5-pitch walk from Bell, or rather from Dell. Bell, Dell, basically the same thing, right? Skips in, 2-0. This is one of 3 Audubon scrimmages that they'll be playing after their first 2 were canceled. They at least made up for the first one by scheduling something against Clearview. Again, we said the last time that Audubon played Clearview was 2021. As that one trails in, and those control woes are starting to pop back up, and it's 3-0. Slavin is the only senior member of the team in the lineup today due to the fact that pretty much everybody else is waiting at MCO, Orlando International Airport, right now, as that one is a 4-pitch walk. So a 5-pitch and 4-pitch walk, respectively, put Slavin in some trouble, as Clearview is going to look to capitalize on this with Chris Wolf. The junior lefty Chris Wolf, who in a normal game would don number 44, takes outside 1-0. Chris Wolf, I apologize, he is a 6 foot, 170-pound senior this year, class of 24. Has a career .091 batting average with Clearview, and that's going to be a wild pitch that careens off of the backstop and moves both runners up. So it's 2-0. Joey Slavin so far, 10 balls, 1 strike in 11 pitches. Obviously a point of concern for the DH Wolf. Or I'm sorry, a point of concern for everybody but the DH Wolf. Especially because if he doesn't lift the bat off his shoulders, he might be fine. But this is kind of giving you deja vu of what we saw last year versus West Springfield, Massachusetts. That is a 4-pitch walk. 13 pitches, and 12 of them have not nicked the strike zone. And we are going to have a quick timeout for pitching coach Wade Geis, who has debuted, I think that's some sort of bleached hair. I think he did something over the offseason, because it was nice and brown last year. And you know, Wade Geis is kind of the gentle whisperer of Audubon pitchers. You know, he runs what they call the shove club, and he has real good camaraderie with his guys, and he knows how to get them out of the jam without actually telling them to do much. He's not going to tell them what pitches to throw. He's just going to calm them down, and he's going to say, hey, you know, we got to do this differently. Because again, you know, we had heard and we had seen in the practices that we attended this year that his control issues had been somewhat fixed. That one misses high to Robert Lagarina. (1-0). That one gets it, 1-1. The defensive lineup for the Wave this afternoon: it's Slavin on the hill, Bannell behind the plate. It is Chester at first, Homa at second, McCracken at short, Caladros at third. And in the outfield from left to right, Stocklin in left, Wiltsey in center, and Tommy Quinn in right. That one is a rocket deep out to left center field. This one's going to stay in the park. Stocklin makes the catch over his head. It's going to bring a run in, but a great defensive play stops collateral damage from being worse. It's 1-0 Pioneers. Heck of a job by Jason Stocklin there to just bust it out of the box and make the play. That was a sacrifice fly that brought in Bell. And now we go back to the number 5 man in the order, that being Andrew Prawn. There's a strike. For the Pioneer fans at home, we will be visiting Clearview Regional High School on April 22nd for coverage of Tri-County baseball between the Timber Creek Chargers and the Pioneers. That'll be 4 o'clock start on Monday, April 22nd. There's another strike. 1 month from today, actually. So we'll be seeing them pretty far apart. We'll also be seeing them versus Triton on Saturday, May 18th in our final regular season game of the year. Slavin back in a rhythm. The 0-2 to Prawn is a ground ball up the line and foul. But really, I mean, Stocklin, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and he definitely took advantage of it. Swing and a miss. They're going to pump fake and throw back to third. So Prawn is retired on the strikeout. And it seems like, knock on wood, but for now, it seems like the damage that has been done is most likely going to be minimal. So Prawn, the left fielder for tonight's festivities, he strikes out. And the first pitch to Dom Abate is a strike, 0-1. 1-0 Clearview after a sacrifice fly by Robert Lagarina. Breaking ball touches the zone, it's 0-2, and that's what makes Joey just such an efficient pitcher, is that there are not many lefties, tall, lanky, fast lefties like him. Kind of reminds me of Chris Sale a little bit, almost like Luke Wood of Pennsville. He's one of those guys where, and you could even say at the collegiate level, Chase Cooper of Rutgers Camden, or Daniel Robeson. There are infinite options to choose from, but at the same time, it's a small number. And Audubon could really use a valuable lefty like Joey this year, especially when you're going to be facing teams that have lefty-heavy lineups like Bishop Eustis, which they could potentially play in the Ralph Shaw Final on April 7th. Swing and a miss. Joey Slavin gives up a run but gets out of the jam with as little damage as he could fathom. 1 run scores on a sac fly by Robert Lagarina. We'll be right back after a half frame, 1-0 Clearview. Tyler Dell, the starting pitcher for Clearview this afternoon, as he threw 46 pitches all told in 2023. He had himself quite a year at the plate with a .311 career average and a .373 average in his 2022 freshman year, but only 46 pitches, 2 innings, 1 hit allowed, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. His one appearance was in a 14-1 loss to Gloucester Catholic on May the 3rd. Let's take a look at that fly ball that was tracked down by Jason Stocklin to get himself out of the jam. Outfield from left to right. Let's take a look at what they had to offer. Tommy Quinn in right. That one is a rocket deep out to left center field. This one's going to stay in the park.
Stockland
just makes the catch over his head. It's going to bring a run in.
Run came in to
but
score,
a great defense.
They took care of business.
So bottom of the first is here, and now we've got ourselves our first batter for Audubon in 2024, Tyler Wiltsey. He's playing center field today, and you know, this is something that I've talked about a long time with Tyler's abilities. He is a Rutgers commit. He's going to play for the Scarlet Knights in 2025. Well, he's a junior now, so he'll play starting in the 2026 season. But 1-0 from Dell. Got jammed, and that'll be fouled back. But Wiltsey, a Rutgers commit, he has always been scouted as a center fielder. The shortstop / middle infield shenanigans that he does have always been a secondary position of his. So the fact that they're now playing him in center field, I think finally is showing some, maybe not restraint, but it is most certainly showing that they're willing to adapt to that, especially considering that Charlie Copsetta is away on senior trip. 2-1. Hot shot back out to second base, and that goes into center field for a base hit. So a single by Wiltsey brings up the catcher, Trent Bannell. But I've been saying for years that if they're going to scout Wiltsey as a center fielder, and if he's going to be ranked in these perfect game and, you know, prep baseball rankings as a center fielder, then they should start playing him in center field. But he has enough experience in travel ball where I guess it's not necessary. And also you have to consider the depth that Audubon has on their roster. You've got a plethora of outfielders. As Wiltsey's running, but on a hit and run, this is going to be a ground ball. He gets in at second. Bannell is retired, but it is a successful hit and run as Wiltsey now moves to second with one away. So that's just going to be scored as a 6-3 ground out, not a fielder's choice, because Wiltsey, there was no attempt to get Wiltsey out at second base. So here is now Nick Caladros, the third baseman. The Greek Freak, as they like to call him. They've got a whole bloodline of guys that are in the Audubon pipeline. They call his younger brother Theo, they call him Scoop. He's a backup catcher on this club along with Dylan Pooley. I mean, you've basically got 4 or 5 catchers that can make an impact. There's a freshman, Michael Aversa, who's a 3-sport athlete. He's a running back, kind of an RB2, if you will, for the football club, and is also a wrestler as well. Does quite a good job at it, but he's one of the backup guys on this club, and you know, once Zimmer graduates, Zimmer's going to have to be a mentor to Aversa and also to Theo Caladros, because that's going to leave a wide gap open in 2025, possibly for Trent Bannell or even for Theo Caladros or Mike Aversa, whoever comes out on top in those trials, if you will, to make it work. It's 2-1 to Caladros. Joey Slavin is going to grab a bat, and he will be the cleanup man next. Two balls, one strike. Dell steps off. But one of the things that's notorious about Audubon is the fact that they've got one of the rowdiest dugouts in South Jersey, and that's what I love about them. That's fouled high up the netting and into the Clearview dugout, 2-2. Joey Slavin ended the first with 24 pitches, which is honestly not bad considering he was only scheduled for 2 innings anyway. I'm not sure who is to come in after him, but you've got a lot of options, to say the least. 2-2. Caladros swings and misses. Wiltsey will run to third. He will get in there, and the ball gets away. So it will be a dropped third strike that Caladros will reach on. So a strikeout wild pitch allows Wiltsey to move to third. I mean, he was going to move to third anyway. But now Caladros sets up Slavin pretty nicely. 2 on, 1 out. Only down by 1 in this first inning. Oh, they're going to throw behind the runner, and the ball gets away. Wiltsey gets up. He's going to sprint for home, and the game is tied. So a bit of a conundrum in the infield. That's going to be scored as an E5 or an E2. Equalizes the game at 1 as Wiltsey comes home to score. Talk about an unusual way to score your first run of the season. Very rarely do you see things like that. 1-1. I mean, he took the first pitch and he took it well, and then I guess for whatever reason they decided to throw behind the runner, and that's one of those fundamental truths of baseball that you try not to break, but it's never wise to. Yeah, it looks like Slavin got plunked. So a hit by pitch, and we thought Audubon was in trouble in the first. Well, it seems like Clearview is in even more trouble. Slavin will be pinch ran for at first. Not sure who is taking over his spot. Somebody's going to grab a helmet. That's going to be number 24, Colin Filippi, who will take his spot as the courtesy runner. That is not a pinch runner. Slavin is still free to pitch, but it's always been a high school rule. You can pinch run for your pitchers and your catchers. I honestly don't think it's that bad of a rule, especially when it comes to player safety. You know, I know there's been some debate on it over the years as to, you know, like you can't do that in college and why do you do it in high school? Well, you know, you also have to consider the time it takes for a catcher to run back to the dugout, throw his gear on. If you're worried about losing light and also being able to move the game along in an efficient manner, sometimes you have to do that. And also, you don't want a situation where your pitcher gets hurt on the bases. You might keep it in a regular season game, but in a scrimmage, there's no reason to. Line drive back up the middle. That one trickles into center field. Rounding third is Caladros. It's picked up. The throw to the plate is offline. It is cut off at the mound, and it's 2-1. RBI single off the bat of Lance Furness, and he gives Audubon a 2-1 lead. Here is Josh Nolan, one of the extra hitters here for Audubon. Furness is the other one. It's literally marked in the scorecard as an EH because, remember, as we saw yesterday with Cherry Hill West and Gloucester Catholic, the rules about scrimmages are very murky. Very, very murky. But that's always something that, you know, you can kind of bend the rules a little bit for the sake of the fact that the game's not counting for anything. So Clearview's hitting 10 guys, Audubon's hitting 11. The ball gets away, it goes to the backstop. Both runners move up. Furness now at second and Filippi now at third. And Furness puts himself in scoring position. So 2 runs have scored in this frame. Tyler Wiltsey came home on a E2, E5, I don't know what you want to call it, against Clearview. It's still an error nonetheless. I guess an E2 because the catcher threw it away. Nolan got a lot of that one, but it's foul. It's 0-2. Well, Clearview is already starting to match Audubon's pitch count in just an inning, and it's not even a fault of walks. It's that Audubon is just giving them what they need. They're kind of giving them the kitchen sink. They're working the counts. They're fouling off pitches. They're really hitting Tyler Dell quite well in this first frame. 0-2. Inside to Nolan. So Audubon looking to pounce and looking to extend their lead over Clearview. in a 2-1 game, bottom of the first. At the letters, wow. That looked close to me, but we'll agree with the man in blue. It's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the pitch. Nolan lifts this one out towards left field. This one's down the line, and it is foul. Tyler Dell already with his 25th pitch of the first inning, more than Joey Slavin had in his first frame. And we're on the 6th batter of the inning, that being Josh Nolan. High, 3-2. So the count is full. Nolan with a big chance to drive in a couple more runs in a 2-1 game in the bottom of the first. Lance Furness gave Audubon a 2-1 lead. And a big lead off of second by Furness. A swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Dell. And there's 2 away. Here is Connor Chester. It feels like yesterday that I saw Connor at the 2019 Little League Home Run Derby. It was a Phillies sponsored event. They had one at almost every Little League, and the winners of those derbies would meet at Citizens Bank Park for their own Little League Home Run Derby. And I remember not only did... Oh, hold on. Caught it short. So that story will have to wait. But Audubon gets 2 runs on the board thanks to an RBI E2, whatever you want to call it, and a RBI single by Lance Furness. Audubon is up 1 after 1.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Pioneers running wild here in the top of the second inning. They lead, or rather Audubon leads, 2-1 at the end of the first. RBI single by Lance Furness broke the stalemate and got Audubon their first lead of the day. Connor Chester, as we were talking about, lined out to short very promptly to end the inning. First pitch from Slavin, called strike, 0-1. But yeah, I remember very well his home run derby performance at age 12, mind you. He was on American Legion at the time, the maroon jerseys, and he hit a ball so far. Remember, the Audubon Little League fields back there where the softball team plays, about 205 feet, probably at its deepest part. He hit a ball that was that cleared the fence, cleared what is now the batting cages down there, and went across the street. There's a swing and a miss, 2-2. It went across the street, probably somewhere around 400 feet, as a 12-year-old. I remember that place went nuts when he did that. It was a spectacle to watch. He spiked that one, got a couple wickets off at the end. That is a cricket joke. I don't watch a lot of cricket, but you know, if you bounce the pitch, you're supposed to hit the what are they? The sticks?
Yeah.
I think they're called wickets. Because you're supposed to break the wooden wickets behind where the... Do they call it a batter? I think it's a batsman is what they call it in England. I think they call it a batsman, but... And they don't have pitchers either. They're called bowlers. But it's not bowlers as you would think, like bowling a bowling ball underhand. It's more, oh, here we go. Runner goes down to second base. Throw is not in time. Stolen base for Pat Jurgen. Now here is Alex Munzenberger. Runner in scoring position for Clearview in the top half of the second. Yeah, they have bowlers and batsmen. They have people in the field who, instead of wearing hats, they wear helmets. But the funny thing is, if you've ever watched a cricket match, the people who probably should be wearing helmets aren't wearing helmets, and the ones who aren't wearing helmets are the people who definitely should be wearing helmets. And people who don't seem to need them are the ones that have them on. Slavin throws back to second, and the throw goes into center field. Wiltsey is going to try to throw him out at third, but that throw is wide. And at this point, you got to hold on to the ball. You don't want the collateral damage to get worse. And that moves Jurgen up to third. There's a strike. And that will indeed be strike three. So Munzenberger is retired. And now here is Batista. The ball gets away. Coming to the plate is Jurgen. He puts the tag down. He is out. They get him out at home, and what would have been the game-tying run is denied, and that wipes the bases clean. So now 2 outs for Connors 1. 1-0. So Ryan Batista struck out there, the center fielder. Two balls, one strike. To the 10th hitter in the order, Connors Juan. With Dell on deck. Time is called. Let's try this again. Got him. They will throw it down the first. The throw is a little bit of a lollipop, but he gets it down nonetheless. After 1.5, 2-1 Audubon. Bottom of the second, let's take a look at how that runner got thrown out at home. Here on the DWB replay presented by Harper Driving School, Joey Slavin had himself in a rhythm, but had that runner on third, that pesky runner. Well, how do you take care of it? This is how. And now here's Batista. The ball gets away. Coming to the plate is Jurgen. He puts the tag down. He is out. Look, they tracked down the ball quickly. Slavin covered home. It seems pretty fundamental, but at the same time, not everybody thinks to do that, and it saved Audubon a run. So Tyler Dell back out there. After 9 batters have batted for Clearview in the first 2 frames, we now bat for Audubon's 8th man as that hits off of Dell. He throws from the seat of his pants and he got him. Tyler Dell, what a play. A ball went off of his abdomen and he makes the first out. Gabe McCracken, oh man, what an unlucky way to be retired. That's just bad luck right there. First pitch, up high. Strike one. One ball, one strike, one out, and now 2 strikes to RJ Homa. He usually doesn't respond to Ronald. Actually, no, they just called him Ron in the dugout. Some people call him Ronnie as like a joke. But I feel like names like that are going back in style, you know? There's a swing and a miss. Let's take a look at that play that Tyler Dell made. Holy goodness. How about this for a play? After 9 batters have batted for Clearview in the first 2 frames, we now bat for Audubon's 8th man. Right that hits off of Dell. He throws from the seat of his pants and he got him. Don't know how he did it, honestly. That's somewhat of a miracle. Homa was retired on a strikeout. There's 2 away for the 9-hole hitter, Tommy Quinn. I apologize. Tommy Quinn is the 10th hitter. There's a strike. 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to Quinn. And that's strike 3. How about an inning for Tyler Dell? In his final of 2 scheduled frames, he makes a nice play at the chest and retires 2 more on the K. We'll be right back, 2-1 after 2. Top of the third, this broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Drive your kid or yourself into success today by taking the road test and the written test on site at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Experience in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. Here is Connor Zwan, the number 10 hitter, as the new pitcher for the Green Wave is number 16. I'm sorry, that it is Lance. It looks like Lance Furness. It is indeed Furness. See, the funny thing is they've got Furness, as the number 17 rostered player, and Gavin Van Rel, a fellow DWB, I don't know if you want to call him worker, volunteer. A fellow DWB volunteer is, he's listed as number 16, but he is not pitching right now. Sorry, Todd. That one misses high and in. 2-1 from Furness to Zwan. It'll be Zwan with a pop-up out towards shallow left. And it's taken in by Stockland, one away. So Zwan flies out to left, and we turn the lineup over to to Dell. I keep saying Bell, Dell. One of those names. We did have a Tyler Bell that we covered last year. I forget what team he was on, but some of those names, they trip commentators like myself. They trip us up, even if they're not hard names. As a foul ball. I apologize. That ball must have dropped for a base hit. Trent Bannell just said hi to the seniors that are watching. Wanted me to tell you. Gave us a little wave. I love Trent. The day that we stop getting Trent Bannell banter in right field is the day the world will end, honestly. He is one of the funniest and most down-to-earth guys you're ever going to see on a baseball diamond. He's just so full of energy. Line drive to left, that's a base hit, that's going to get down. It is a rocket that's going to bang off of the Beck's Bagel sign. Rounding third is going to be Zwan. Heading into second is Dell. He's got an RBI double. It's 2-2. So Tyler Dell walked, came around to score in the first, and now he rips a double into the gap to lead off of Connor Zwan's single to now bring up Ryder. Braden Ryder, the third baseman. He also walked when Joey Slavin allowed the first three batters to get free passes. That one misses inside. You know, I think there was a big debate over, why didn't I go to Disney with the seniors this year? A lot of people asked if I was going to be down there, and I told them that I went with my family in December, had an excellent time. It just wasn't something that I was quite interested in. I don't want a room with like 3 or 4 people, and, it was nice sharing a room with just one, and that being a person I knew for 15 years of my life. It was a lot easier. We didn't fly, we drove down. And it was a lot easier because 4 people all having their licenses, everybody probably shares a 4 or 5 hour shift, and you don't even have to stop anywhere overnight. I mean, obviously you stop a couple times for gas, a couple times for snacks. We have now been indoctrinated into the Buc-ee's cult, if you will, down in Florence, South Carolina. Probably the best gas station you're ever going to go to in your life. There's a strike, 3-1. If you've never been to Buc-ee's, please make a stop at Buc-ee's the next time you drive to Florida or to Myrtle Beach. I believe the closest one to here is Florence, South Carolina, but there's another one in Georgia and another one in Florida. but there's not that many in the East Coast. They're all in Texas, and they're actually pretty commonplace in Texas. But I have never been to Texas. The count is 3-2 to Ryder. Here's the pitch. That ball is rocketed deep left field. This one's got a chance. It is foul. Man, the wind isn't really even blowing out, and this is a pitcher-friendly park. We almost saw our first high school bomb of the year. Man, still 3-2. That's the problem, though. I think he just left that curveball up there, and that almost was a recipe for disaster. Full count pitch. Hit foul. That's the problem, though. I think he just left it. So Lance Furness, 3 balls, 2 strikes. I assume he'll be scheduled to throw the 3rd and the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Furness with a 2-seamer inside. Ryder goes from 350 feet out to a strikeout. The first for Furness this afternoon, and there's one away. With a runner on second after Zwan came around to score on the double by Bell. This one's hit down the first base line past Chester and foul. Yeah, Connor Chester in I think it was 2019 or 2018. It was because he's a freshman in high school now. So if you're 12 years old in, say, 5th or 6th grade, then you would be, let's see, that would be 3 years. I'm trying to do the math in my head. It was probably 2019, I'd say, was the year that he competed in that home run derby. And it was incredible. And the funny thing is, that wasn't even the only highlight from that year in terms of home runs in Little League, because there was Ryan Sullivan, who now goes to St. Joe's Prep in Philly. I don't know if he plays any sports there over in Philly, but his sister Molly Sullivan is a track runner here, and he hit a grand slam in the playoff semis. As that ball gets away, runner goes to 3rd, that being Bell. The pinch runner for Bell moves to 3rd, but that was a grand slam in the playoff semifinals that hit off of the scoreboard in center field. Not here, but at the Little League field. One of the loudest metal clangs you've ever heard, and it almost knocked out a panel on the scoreboard, too. Swing and a miss. Furness has got the stuff tonight. He is locked in. Back-to-back strikeouts for the junior. 2 away. So Wolf is retired. It was a single by Zwan. He came around to score on the RBI double by Bell. Ryder and Wolf back-to-back strikeouts now for Robert Lagarna. When the inning is over, pull up the double. You might want to do that now. You might want to pull up the to go to studio mode. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah. 5th batter of the frame for Clearview in the top of the 3rd. Now here comes the runner to the plate. The skip, the throw, not in time. Clearview takes the lead 3-2 on a wild pitch and a miss Karam at home plate. So Bell's substitute comes in, and it is 3-2. Bases are wiped clean. For those just tuning in, Clearview has scored 2 runs in the top of the 3rd in a 3-2 ball game. See, of course, we made the scoreboard tag for Audubon yellow, assuming that they were going to be debuting the yellow jerseys, but that was not the case. I didn't know that they were just doing these. At least it's a lot easier because the jersey numbers do match up. There's a lot more guys on the roster this year than there were last year, though, as I'm noticing. Swing and a miss. I feel like the word is out there that, you know, people know the memo. People know the program. You got a couple of new freshmen here. Theo Caladros, Connor Chester, Chase Bozorth, Aaron Pilla, Colin Filippi, and Trevor Donnelly are the notable youngsters on this club. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lagarna, the cleanup man for Clearview, as he gets a big swing and a miss, and he is out. Lance Furness picks up 3 strikeouts. However, Clearview takes the lead. Going to the bottom of the third, 3-2 Pioneers. All right, bottom of the third, Tyler Ahrens, the new pitcher for Audubon. Let's take a look at that Harper Driving School instant replay of that RBI double in the top half of the inning.
Full of energy.
Home a run.
Line drive to left. That's a base hit. That's going to get down. It is a rocket that's going to bang off the Beck's Bagel sign. Rounding third is going to be Zwan. Heading into second is Dell. He's got an RBI double. It's 2-2.
I keep forgetting I have to stop talking over the replays because it's got my mic on it. But hey, I'm still proud of the fact that we now have instant replay, so we can take a look at those closer plays and, you know, just see what we're doing. In the future, I want to buy a second camera, put it behind home plate for those really good angles, but I don't have a Bluetooth connection that strong that can go 400 feet. And if I were to hardwire it, it would involve a lot of cables that, especially if we're just here for one game, you know, like it would be something that I'd consider for like the Shaw, but I don't have the funds for that kind of equipment yet, and at the same time, I also need to buy those cables that would connect us 400 feet away. That's going to be a 4-pitch walk from Tyler Ahrens to Jason Stockland to start the bottom of the third. Now here's Tyler Wiltsey. Wiltsey, the center fielder, singled and came around to score in the first, an inning that Audubon put up 2 runs in.
It's been their only spark of offense tonight. That one misses outside, 1-0. Audubon 2 runs on just 2 hits today. Caladros reached first on a strikeout wild pitch, and that's what's kind of started the rally in the bottom half of the inning. That one is rocketed foul. 1-1. A brisk day here in Audubon on a Friday afternoon as we get ready for flood watches this weekend. 50 degrees here with wind blowing out at 10 miles per hour. Real feel is 48. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball down, 2-1. But hopefully they do give Tyler some regular season games in center field. I definitely think that is the position that they should be developing him for more, especially because that's what he plays in travel ball, and that's what he will be expected to play at Rutgers. This one is a country mile high going over, and it's caught, but they're going to call it out of play. Technically, where those orange cones are down the first base line is what signifies in and out of play. So yes, he made the catch, but because of where those cones are, that kind of sets the boundaries. Because sure, your left fielder could play in foul territory and just catch every foul ball for an out. So they kind of have to set the boundaries somewhere. That one is a ground ball that stays into the infield. The throw is high. It gets away. It goes all the way down the right field line. It will skip out of play. The right fielder, Damabade, puts his hands up. Stockland came around the score, and that should be a 2-base error that will tie the game at 3. So Wiltsey will remain at second, and the game is tied 3-3. A lot of herky-jerky offense here. Some of it has come in scrupulous ways, but trying to figure out what the conundrum is here. Trying to listen in. Coach Nick Core was trying to get an explanation from the umpire about that call. But remember, this is why we go over ground rules before the game, before the game starts. You've got, these guys that are just talking it over, and they've got to go over situations like that where, yes, it is not at all uncommon to see someone rip one down the line and it's going to go behind the outfield fence. This one is bunted way foul by Bannell. But Wiltsey will get to second on what is going to be scored as an E2. Stockland will score from first, and the game is tied at 3-3. It's been back and forth. Audubon at a 1-0 deficit, and then they took the lead. And now Coach Core coming out to talk to his fella on the hill, Tyler Ahrens. He is not on an NJ.com roster, so I don't have any previous stats from Ahrens. But he will pitch the 3rd and the 4th. The 5th and the 6th will belong to Pat Jurgen. He will pitch the 5th and the 6th, and then we're going to have another man in the 7th. Three game, looking good so far. That one hit Bannell's bat. That one hit his knob of the bat, and it's going to make it a foul ball, so it's 0-2. You can see Bannell was frustrated with himself. He was not happy just because he thought it was either going to hit him and he was going to get a free base, or, it ends up being a ball. They're going to say he swung. Throw to first is in time, but there was no signal as to whether he should have actually ran, so it's a strikeout nonetheless. and there's one away. But those kind of situations, they rattle a player. You know, they definitely get in your head a little bit, and they say, you know, hey, you gotta take care of business, and sometimes there's a right way to do it, and there's not a right way to do it. Caladros takes a curveball at the ankles. It's 1-0. Don't forget, our next broadcast will be Tuesday, March 26th, of more Audubon baseball preseason between the Lenape Indians and the Audubon Green Wave, a game that ended in a 5-5 tie last year, Audubon's first scrimmage tie since 2012. Fly ball to left, taken in and left, coming home and looking to score. The cutoff is there, and it is in time. What a throw from left to take care of business and keep this game tied. The throw from left is a beauty from Clearview's Prawn, and the inning is over. We go to the fourth, 3-3. Top of the fourth, 3-2 game. Just a little clarification. They reversed the call that was an E2 for Tyler Wiltsey. They put him on second, but the situation was runners on second and third, so they reversed it, and the run did not score. But let's take a look at that double play that ended the inning. A nice play in left by Andrew. Full of energy. Line drive to left, that's a base hit, that's going to get down. It is a rocket that's going to bang off the Beck's Bagel sign. Rounding third is going to be Zwan. Heading into second is Dell. He's got an RBI. As we go to the top of the fourth.
You ever mention how you got your start in Audubon Little League? You got to mention that every once in a while.
I have. We were just talking, you know, it was funny. We were just talking about the fact that, you know, when Connor Chester was 12 years old or so, you know, we were talking about his home run derby performance, and where he had a ball that almost cleared Walnut Street and
that's right.
went into the person's front yard. It was one of the most beautiful things we've seen in a while there. But
and now he's here.
Now he is here.
That's awesome. Good to see you. You're doing a great job.
That was one of the parents, Mr. Quinn, there having a chat with us as the new pitcher for the Green Wave, Nick Caladros, with a rocket out to right field. That one drops. Bannell picks it up, and that'll be a leadoff base hit for Clearview. But yes, that is very true. 2016 was my first year covering Audubon Little League Baseball. I was the public address announcer, and it was good times. Sometimes you got to graduate to the big boys, and now here we are today. That one is fouled. So Andrew Prawn got the base hit after that double play. And now here's Abate. Here's a ground ball on a possible hit and run. It's going to go out to second. McCracken ignores the runner on second, and everybody's safe. An infield single for Dom Abate. Puts 2 runners on after it looked like they were going to turn 2, and then they were going to just go for 1, and then they got a total of 0. That will be scored as an infield single. It wasn't really Gabe's fault. He just kind of shuffled one too many times and ended up paying the price. That one goes into right field. Base hit for Pat Jurgen. And the bases are loaded. And here is Munzenberger. First pitch is a strike.
Oh, there it is.
One and one to Munzenberger, the 8th hitter in the order out of 10 for Clearview. Bases loaded. Caladros in a little trouble. Curveball just misses. 2-1. Don't forget, we go up north on opening day, April 1st at 11 a.m. start for 2 sectional finalists from last year. The Rancocas Valley Red Devils and the Bridgewater Raritan Panthers, about a 90-minute drive up north. That'll be our first opening day game of 2024. Going to be an excellent game, as that one is a plunker. That extends the lead for Clearview. It's 4-2. Let's take a look at that double play that ended the bottom of the third. It was definitely quite the interesting one indeed, as Andrew Prawn made the catch and threw out the runner at home. Scrimmage tie since 2012. Fly ball to left, taken in and left, coming home and looking to score. The cutoff is there, and it is in time. What a throw. And while we're at it, in the top of the 4th, as Wade Geis is talking to Nick Caladros, it is time for DWB Trivia Time. An old classic, but today's question is, which Colonial Conference team did Coach Rich Horan beat to collect his 500th win in May of 2017? Was it A, Sterling, B, Woodbury, C, Paulsboro, or D, West Deptford? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. That's an answer that Dylan Tassie can tell you pretty clearly, since he was a senior on that team in 2017. Bases loaded. That ball skips away. A whole bunch of jitters on the bases, but everybody holds up for Ryan Batista, the center fielder for the Pioneers. They'll try it again. 1-0. There's a strike. 1-1. Caladros, here in the 4th, has allowed 1 run on a bases-loaded hit by pitch to Munzenberger. And now the 9-hole hitter out of 10, Batista at the dish. Infield playing in, swing and a miss on a breaking ball, 1-2. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Caladros. Got a couple of curveballs to chase. And finally, there's one away. Here is Connor Zwan. Clearview played Woodstown in a scrimmage at Mullica Hill yesterday. Still just as cold, but there's a strike, 0-1. And Coach Core told me, I asked him how the game went, and he said, not well. So, at least he's honest. I mean, hey, this is his first year as the head coach of Clearview. There's a ground ball. That's going to get through both. It goes into right field. 1 run scores. Here comes the second in. It's trapped, but he blocks the plate, and now Zwan goes to second, and 2 runs will score on the base hit by Zwan that just got through the infield. It's 6-2, and there's still only 1 out. So Abate scores, and along with him coming in was Jurgen. That moves Munzenberger to third, and still with only 1 away, Clearview has put up 5 runs in these last 2 innings for a total of 6 tonight. That one misses, 1-0. Of course, yesterday, Cherry Hill West defeated Gloucester Catholic in their first scrimmages of the year. That was our first high school broadcast of the year. There's a different charm about covering high school baseball than there is about collegiate baseball, especially for schools like these. You know, Clearview Regional and Audubon, 2 small towns in Mullica Hill, and Audubon, especially Audubon. You know, I've got a little bit of bias because of, you know, the fact that I've lived here since I was 6 months old, but there's something about the community. There's something about how people just come together, you know, attend these outings. Everybody knows everybody. You know, you can walk into a coffee shop and you see 5 people that you know any given Sunday, and it's just what makes the town beautiful. And I know that that is very common in South Jersey. There's a lot of camaraderie, and even I'll be the first to say, you know, Audubon doesn't have the greatest downtown district. You know, people might go to Haddonfield or Collingswood or Westmont, but even then, you know people behind the counters. You know people that are serving your food. You know the people on the street. Everybody knows everybody around here. That's what makes it fun. That's deep out to center field. Going back, Wiltsey. It is over his head. It bounces off the yellow fence. 1 run scores. 2 runs will score, and an RBI double for Tyler Dell. Dell with a 2-run double, and it's a 6-run lead. 8-2 Pioneers. His second extra base hit of the day. So that scored Munzenberger and Zwan, as Caladro's in some trouble. They may have to deviate off of the schedule just for now, as that one misses, 1-0. Cherry Hill West won 11-4. The player of the game was Alabama commit John Young Jr. Some of these guys are going good places, though, for Audubon. Tyler Wiltsey, as we said, commit to Rutgers University. The main one, the Division I one, that one's up high, 1-1. Joey Slavin committed to Holy Family University, which is a D2 school in the Philadelphia Metro that is currently in their first ever baseball season. There's a swing and a miss. Big hack there for Ryder. A 5 spot, though, for Clearview has made this game a lot more convoluted for Audubon. Remember the last time these two squared off against each other in April of 2021, that was a game that Audubon won 9-6. And I'm telling you, I know I hate to go off topic, but Nick Caladros keeps losing his hat. They need to get him a bigger hat. Or they need to get him a smaller hat. I'm not sure, but they need to get him a bigger hat. There it is again. And a fly ball out to center field. Wiltsey is there. He makes the catch. Good footwork and a rocket down to third. Almost a dangerous throw, but he hangs onto it. And there's 2 down. So Ryder flies out to center. But I'm telling you, he just keeps losing the hat. They need to, like, get out some, like, masking tape and, like bolt it down. This time it stays on, but this time the runner moves to third. So Dell advances on a wild pitch, and you know, we've talked about this before. Caladros has been a hero in relief for a certain number of years now with the Green Wave. But there's just some nights where he doesn't have it, and he knows it. And he knows that he's I wouldn't say he's self-conscious, but he's self-aware that he knows about his performance. He doesn't need anybody to tell him, and he's very straightforward with what he says. He's not going to be afraid to tell himself that he's in the wrong place or he's doing something wrong. He's not going to run a facade and just try to take the blame on somebody else. He will be very responsible and kind of throw himself under the bus for the sake of the team. That's ball 4. As I can tell, no arms warming up in the Audubon bullpen down the third base line, but a walk to Chris Wolf brings up Robert Lagorna, who had that sacrifice fly in the third, or rather in the first. He is the 10th batter of the inning. That one goes, and nobody knows where it is. Wild pitch, 9-2. So scoring on that play is Bell. It moved Wolf down to second, and it's a 1-0 count to Lagorna. This is very surprising from what I've seen. But this is Audubon's first scrimmage of the year. You'll notice that they are probably never going to scrimmage another Group 1 school for a scrimmage. They will always play up. They will always play the bigger schools. They'll always play the schools that they know are going to be on a similar playing field to them. And, Clearview last year was 9-13, but you look at it on the other side of the fact that they were playing in one of the toughest divisions in South Jersey, the Tri-County Royal, with Washington Township, GCIT, Gloucester Catholic, and Kingsway. Wolf is going to skedaddle down the third. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A 6th spot for Clearview in the top half of the 4th. And it ends just like that. Caladros gives up those runs, and now the offense will look to back him up. 10 batters come through in the top half of the 4th. We'll be right back after this. Bottom of the 4th, let's take a look at that 2-run double by Tyler Dell in the top of the 4th. The people on the street. Everybody knows everybody around here. And that's what makes it fun. That's deep out to center field. Going back, Wiltsey. It is over his head. It bounces off the yellow fence. 1-run score. In the bottom half of the 4th, it will be leading off in the frame, Joey Slavin, to be followed by Lance Furness and Josh Nolan, as this one is hit well out towards right center field, playable, and backtracking to make the catch is the Pioneers, 1 away. Taken in by Batista in center, and Slavin is retired on a deep fly ball. Here is Lance Furness. He gave Audubon their first lead on an RBI single in the bottom of the first, a lead that Audubon has not regained. They had 2 scoreless frames in the second and the third, and now are really having to play catch-up on the offensive side of the ball. And, you know, this is kind of that situation where they went down in order with Dell in the second, and now they're just trying to get their groove back a little bit. You know, look, these two have history. Again, played each other in a scrimmage in April of 2021. A game that Audubon won by 3 runs, a very respectable game. Right now, this is just looking like a situation where Audubon is either going to have to play catch-up, or they're just going to have to write this one off the history books and, you know, bite the bullet and move on. And remember, this is going to be usually would have been the situation where they play the 2 Connecticut teams, or the 1 Connecticut, 1 Massachusetts team, that being Enfield and West Springfield, the way it's been for the past 2 years. But West Springfield was just a one-off, and Enfield, which has been coming here since 2022, they opted out this year because it's going to be raining on Saturday the 23rd. Going to be pretty miserable. If it's not miserable right now, but it's just cold. Wait until it gets cold and rainy. You don't even have the satisfaction of snow. 1-0. Misses inside. 2-0. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available, including and also toys, cages, accessories, and more. Visit today at the 200 block of Whitehorse Pike 7 days a week in Audubon, or visit online anytime at exoticpetsnj.com. While we're at it, though, it's a 3-0 count to Josh Nolan. After this at-bat, we'll bring back up to trivia time, and we'll give you that answer to the question that we laid out in the top half of the inning. There's a strike. 3-1. Slavin flew out to center to start the frame, and Lance Furness got on first with a walk. Again, as we said, 1, 0, 2, and 6 is what Clearview has put up in this game so far, brought the otherwise good pace of this game to a screeching halt. Nolan cuts it down the line, and it's foul, so the count is full. As we said, we'll be covering the remainder of Audubon's scrimmages versus Lenape on Tuesday and Triton on Thursday the 28th. Their opening day will be on Tuesday, April 2nd during Easter week versus the Paulsboro Red Raiders. That'll be down in Paulsboro, right off of exit 18 of 295. Always a nice place to visit. And that is ball 4. So yes, let's bring up DWB trivia time. Today's question was, in 2017, when Coach Rich Horan earned his 500th career win, it was against which Colonial Conference opponent? Was it A, Sterling, B, Woodbury, C, Paulsboro, or D, West Deptford? The correct answer, actually, Vince, do you have a guess, or are you just going to shoot in the dark?
I'm going Sterling.
Sterling? Well, you were on the wrong side of it, so it's West Deptford. They defeated West Deptford in May of 2017 for Horan's 500th career win. And the reason why we bring that up is that going into 2024, he is at 592. Uh-oh, here's a rocket out towards right field, but playable. No, it's dropped. It gets past the right fielder, Abate, and this is going to bring in a run, if not 2 runs. Nolan's going for third. Going into second is Connor Chester. And almost by accident, he's got his first high school hit that brings in an RBI. It's 9-3. We'll talk about a rude interruption by Connor Chester, but it brings home Furness. Nolan gets to third. And that might keep this offensive rally alive for a little while, as Connor Chester gets the RBI double. Bringing up Gabe McCracken, the shortstop. But yes, he's at 592, Rich Horan. One of the most winning coaches in South Jersey history, with his 8 state titles. 7 of them came while he was a head coach. Just in his 3rd year He won his first state title in 1994, won the Triple Crown in 1995. That includes the Diamond Classic. And they had a dynasty in the 90s, 94, 95, 97, 98, 2001, 2002, and then 2011 and 2012. This one is headed foul onto Walnut Street. Almost hit a little kid out there. Oh my goodness, Gabe, what are you doing? You hit my car and then you almost hit a little kid. He's got to start thinking of the people. 9-3 Clearview. Already 30 pitches for Tyler Ahrens. And McCracken lofts this one down the right field line. Who's got it? It is caught. But now a runner is coming home from foul territory. They're going to be caught up in a pickle. Throw over to third. He got him! A base running gaff by Josh Nolan keeps the inning in limbo. That is going to be a 3-2-5 double play. And the side is retired after 4, 9-3 Pioneers. The RBI double. Top of the fifth inning, 9-3 Clearview. Let's take a look at that play that ended the frame. Lofts this one down the right field line. Who's got it? It is caught. But now a runner is coming home from foul territory. They're going to be caught up in a pickle. Throw over to third. He got him! New pitcher for the Green Wave, Gabe McCracken. One of the unsung heroes and one of the hidden gems in this class of 2025, this crowded class that is, as he has really, after being a Jaybird all of his sophomore year, he came up and threw a 0.88 ERA in 2023. He had incredible performances versus Haddonfield, a game that a lot of people thought Audubon wasn't going to win. And he has just been phenomenal. He has touched 88 in his top velocity. And not just that, but again, like we said, a sub-2 ERA is pretty crazy. That's Pedro Martinez 1999 levels. But a sub-1 ERA is almost inhuman. But he's done it, and he has kind of taken the money and run, if you will, because he is just thriving this year. And I hope to see, maybe he's going to be the opening day starter. I don't know. Who do you put out there? Last year was Caladros. He did well versus, versus Paulsboro in April of last year. But then he just had his struggles, and he couldn't hang on to the momentum. First strikeout from McCracken, 1 away. So Andrew Prawn is retired, and here is Dom Abate. Just about 5:45 here between Clearview and Audubon. Game has been going on for 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'm still getting the whiplash from yesterday because that scrimmage was 3 hours and 19 minutes, and they didn't even complete the 7th inning. Imagine if that was a 9-inning Major League Baseball game. That's 4-hour territory right there. Rocketed foul. Abate, 1 for 2. With a strikeout and a single to his name, he came across to score in that 6-run 4th inning. Outside, 1 and 2. Line drive to left by Abate. That's a base hit. Down on a knee to retrieve it and avoid further damage is Stocklin. Couple of changes in the defensive lineup. Colin Filippi has taken over in center field. There's a strike. So the base hit by Abate brings up Pat Jurgen. Big swing and a miss on a thumping fastball. 0-2. 1 away, 1 on. And now his catcher, we'll talk it over with him. Trent Bannell back there. McCracken looking to bring some restored order to Audubon in this 5th inning. There's a ground ball. This could be 2. Throw to second for 1. On to first. Not in time. Just hung onto it with Josh Nolan now at first. 2 away. Mute my mic. Just mute both mics. So Trevor Donnelly, the freshman, is in at second base. There's a strike. 0-1. So Jurgen was retired on a 5-4-3 fielder's choice. Jurgen reached first. Abate was out at second. There's another one. 0-2. After a 6-run 4th inning, Audubon is looking to keep the Pioneers scoreless, and they're 1 strike away from doing so. In a 9-3 game, certainly an unlikely event compared to what we saw yesterday and what we've seen in prior history, especially between these two teams. Oh, 2. Swing and a miss. McCracken with a big strikeout, and the side is retired. Top of the 5th has concluded. 9-3 Clearview. May of 2017 for Haran's 500th career win. And the reason why we bring that up is that going into 2024, he is at 592. Uh-oh, here's a rocket out towards right field, but playable. No, it's dropped. It gets... It's the bottom of the 5th inning. This broadcast is brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. Make your dream kitchen come true today with wholesale kitchen cabinets and countertops at heavily discounted rates compared to big box retailers. Visit today at 612 Creek Road in Belmar, next to the 42 on-ramp. New pitcher for the Clearview Pioneers, up by 6, is Pat Jurgen. It's been Tyler Dell and Tyler Ahrens that have held Audubon at bay in the first couple of frames, and the first pitch is fouled back for the Green Wave after a 4-batter frame for the Pioneers and a 5-batter frame for the Green Wave. It's going to be Homa, Tommy Quinn, and Jason Stockland.
Tommy's up next. Who's he up now?
Swing and a miss. 0-2. Remember, if you are a small business owner and you're interested in becoming a sponsor of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we are selling commercial spots for as little as $250 for 6 months. You can send us an email with an inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. There's a strikeout. Homa is retired, 1 away. So here is the lefty Tommy Quinn. Lives just down the street here in Audubon, very familiar to the Audubon school system, and been here for a while, and now a junior, class of 2025. He takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. Oh, and 2. Swing and a miss. Tommy Quinn goes 3 up, 3 down. And that's the second out of the inning and the second strikeout for Pat Jurgen.
Here is now Jason Stocklin, the 11th hitter in the order for the Audubon Green Wave. Feels a little weird to say, but that's what you do in scrimmages. There is a strike. Audubon has had a generally good record in their scrimmages. As we said, when they played Lenape to a tie last year, that was the first time since March of 2012 that they had tied in a scrimmage. (2018) was the last time that Audubon had lost in their first scrimmage of the year, when they lost to Woodstown in March of 2018. Outside. But 2018 and 2007 were the last years that Audubon had a sub-500 record in preseason games. But people don't like to talk about the preseason much. You know why? Because it doesn't matter. The Phillies have lost 4 or 5 games in a row in spring training. We lost to the lowly Tigers today. But does that knock my confidence in the team down any pegs? No. I still believe the Phillies are going to make their runs, and they're going to make the playoffs again, and they're going to do well. But it's spring training. It's literally in the name. Spring training. It's training. It's preseason. There's a ground ball to third. Nice play to recover from the bobble, and he is out. Stocklin is retired, tried to bust it out of the box and beat the throw to the bag, but he was unsuccessful. We've got 6 outs to go before Audubon is in a lot of trouble. 9-3 after 5. Top of the 6th inning, you're watching Dan Wilkins Broadcasting coverage of Audubon Green Wave preseason baseball. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. First batter for Clearview in the top half of the 6th is going to be Ryan Batista, to be followed by Connor Zwan and Tyler Dell. 1-1. Clearview will have their same man back out for the 6th. That being Pat Jurgen, but their 7th inning pitcher is simply listed as Gio, which I don't have on my roster, so that'll be a mystery for a little while, as there's a base hit in the left. Taken in out there in left by Stocklin, and
That'll give Clearview a leadoff base runner. So a base hit for Batista. Brings up Connor Zwan with Dell back on deck. He's probably a candidate for player of the game, if I'm being honest, because he has been so productive to this Clearview offense. 3 RBIs, 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. And it's not like they're meaningless doubles. They have come in important spots and have brought big turns and changes to this game so far. That one is fouled off. Looks like it might have hit Zwan's foot. And it's 1-1. Don't forget, we open our regular season schedule on April 1st. This is not a April Fool's joke, but we are going up north to square off the Rancocas Valley Red Devils and the Bridgewater Raritan Panthers. That'll be an 11 a.m. start time on April 1st. We'll continue the spring break swing with Audubon and Paulsboro on April 2nd, Pittman and Glassboro on April 3rd, Audubon Haddonfield on the 5th, and Cherry Hill East versus Collingswood on April 5th. And then, of course, that weekend will be none other than the Ralph Shaw Classic. 27th annual this year. 1-2 to Zwan. With a runner on first and nobody out, 6-run lead as McCracken delivers a curveball. That got him. 1 down. We turn the order over now to Bell. Oh my goodness, to Dell. Bell, Dell, Tell, Penn and Teller, Bank Teller. It's like a game of telephone. So runner on first, 1 away in a 6-run lead for Clearview. As there's a strike. 0-1. There is a strike. 0-2. The defensive lineup for the Green Wave right now in the infield, it's Spannel behind the plate, Nolan at first, Donnelly at second, Wiltsey has moved to short, and the third baseman is back to being Caladros. Fastball just misses away, and it's 1-2. Outfield is as follows: Stocklin in left, Filippi in center, and Quinn in right. Put up his glove to kind of acknowledge us a little bit. So I get a miss. Strikeout number 2 from McCracken in this frame. Strikeout number 4 overall for him in this outing. 2 away. Am I really that loud? I don't know if it's because it's quiet out here or if it's just because I really am that loud. God, that would be annoying if you were a right fielder and I was yapping in your ear for 3 hours. So after Dell was retired, here is Brendan Ryder. Banel pump fake, looking like he was going to throw back to the runner, but nothing going on there. 1-0. Of course, the Thank You Classic is going to be one of DWB's most important weekends of the year and one of the most important classics in all of South Jersey baseball, outside of the Diamond, of course. We're going to have a total of 7 games covered over the weekend. Now, what the plan is going to be is that on Friday, April 19th, we will be here for Bordentown versus Audubon. And then, when that game is over, we will head down to Belmar Rec to cover Haddon Township versus Timber Creek at a 7 o'clock start. Now, we'll have everything ready for us, like the lineups and everything, so that I don't have to go down there and get it. We're just going to set up and go. And we'll, like maybe we'll put your truck like next to the gate so that we can have it ready. Luckily, Tony Carbone's going to be back from Disney by then. He's having fun with the seniors down there, along with a lot of other staff and faculty, having a time of their lives. But they are on a Southwest flight right now, headed back to Philadelphia International Airport. It's 3-1. I feel like there's some seniors that might have paid for Wi-Fi on the flight to just so that they could watch the game. I mean, it's customary that when I am on a flight, I pay for Wi-Fi. Southwest, I don't think it's actually that bad. The last time I remember flying Southwest, but we'll talk about airplane Wi-Fi in a minute at the end of the top of the sixth, 9-3 Clearview. Bottom of the sixth inning. Clearview leads by 6 runs, and this game might only last as long as the sun allows them to. It's actually getting pretty dark.
It is. That's what I was going to say.
It got dark fast.
It's wild over here.
I mean, yesterday was clear as can be at Gloucester Catholic High or at Joe Barth Field. So
It's good.
you could tell exactly when the sun was going down. But 1, 2, and 3 for Audubon, Wiltsey, Bantle, and Caladros. Clearview's big moment of this game has been put up with a 6-run fourth inning. There's a strike. With the top of the order due up for the Green Wave, could make things a little bit contentious, especially if you know you only get to play maybe one more inning. But this is the same cycle as Jurgen strikes out Wiltsey, 1 away. This is the same cycle that we had yesterday, where we're like, well, how long are they going to play until they can't play anymore because of the darkness? And it ended up just turning into, okay, we're just going to keep going and going and going because you want to get the guys more at-bats, which I have no problem with. I think now I have no problem with it. Yesterday I was a little bit peeved because it was a 3-hour, 19-minute game. I mean, what high school baseball game goes 3.5 hours? What scrimmage goes 3.5 hours? I mean, even when you have pitching changes and everything like that, it just dragged on and on and on. And even then, the previous record holder for longest high school broadcast that we've done for baseball was Overbrook versus Woodstown last year. Excuse me. A game that ended 7-4, but it went 3 hours, 8 minutes. Rocket in the right, base hit. Trent Bennell gets it. Prawn cuts it off. And that'll be a 1-out single for Trent Bennell. Still going to have to figure out who that 7th inning pitcher is for Clearview. It just says Gio. I have no idea. There's no last name. There's no Giovanni or Gio nothing on the NJ.com roster, so I might have to yell at one of their guys if we ever get to the bottom of the 7th inning. It might not matter. We might have the same situation as yesterday, and it might not play a role. But it's 0-1. Bandel on first, Caladros at the dish. Caladros reached first on a strikeout wild pitch and was on the unfortunate losing end of a fly-out double play to end the third. That one is high up on the nets and into the Pioneer dugout. It's 0-2. Bandel 1 for 3 now after that single. Joey Slavin on deck. He grabs his bat for his third at bat. Reached on a hit-by pitch. And later flew out to deep center. There's a strike. And that'll be strike 3. Caladros is retired, 2 away, and this brings up Joey Slavin. Well, if they're adamant on playing 7 innings just like they were yesterday, the good thing is that they're making it quick. I'll just show real quick Joey Slavin coming up to the plate here. What we did yesterday and what we've done in a couple of other occasions just to show the lighting. This shutter runs on 1/250th, which is basically just a whole bunch of nerd numbers. But if I tone it down to 1/750, that is much more accurate to the lighting that we have right now. Actually, it's a little bit better than that. It's probably right around here, 1/500. But we have the shutter speed turned up so that it's a little bit brighter, and the exposure is a little bit more so that you can see more of the pitcher and the batter, even if the lighting here isn't that great. Like sometimes even I'm losing the ball coming out of the hand of the pitcher, and it's 3-0 to Slavin. But if you're going to make a comeback, do it now, honestly. I mean, really. These guys are going to be making an impact. If they're going to be making an impact in the regular season this year, now is a good time to start getting the blood pumping and getting the Jets up. Slavin gets a free pass, and this now brings up Lance Furness. 2 outs, 2 on. Slavin will have a man pinch run for him. Looks like number 19 is going out to run for Audubon. And now we're going to have a mound visit. You know how we were talking about how this inning was going quickly? What happened to that? Number 19 is Theo Caladros, or as the teammates call him, Scoop. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. First pitch strike to Furness. Don't forget, folks, our next broadcast will be Tuesday, March 26th, hopefully in a little better weather, between Lenape and Audubon in their second scrimmage of the year. Lenape just played Jackson Memorial and beat them by a boatload. Audubon would have won that game last year versus Lenape, but because of a late RBI double by Ben Warren in the top of the 7th, Ground ball by Furness. He's going to have another hit. It goes into center field. Rounding third, but stopping abruptly is Bantle. Or I apologize, the pinch runner for Bantle. That being Chester. And the bases are loaded with 2 down. Furness has reached base all 3 times this afternoon. Well, this crowd started as a lively bunch, but most of the metal bleachers have dissipated since then. 0-1 to Josh Nolan. Nolan 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout to his name tonight. About 6:15 here in the afternoon on a 50-degree day. Try this again. 1-1. It's not even particularly windy. It's just cold.
Yeah.
It's really all I can say. I mean, it's not that bad, but there's no sun. Well, I mean, let me say this. I'm not a rocket scientist, but there is a sun behind the clouds. It's just not visible, and it's not giving us any warmth like it was for me yesterday. So it's just flat cold. Fly ball, Josh Nolan way back there, and foul. 2-2. Bases loaded, no room at the end. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Audubon looking for their first run since the 4th and trying to salvage a couple runs before darkness falls upon Hank Greenberg Field tonight. There's the 2-2. Got him! Big strikeout, and Clearview is going to leave the bases loaded for Audubon, and they'll pick up the pieces. We've got one more frame to play, 9-3 after 6. One more inning to play here at Audubon. And a new pitcher, the man who 2 years ago, or I guess 1 year and 11 months ago, no-hit the Washington Township Minutemen as a freshman. For Audubon's first no-hitter since Co Nolan did it in 2017, Jason Stocklin. Stocklin on the hill in the top of the 7th in a 6-run lead for Clearview. Breaking ball. Wow.
That's He wants to get home.
Oh my goodness. Strike one. Strike two.
Hard to get home.
That was wild. The 0-2. That one misses. 1-2. One ball, two strikes. Stockland delivers. Poked out towards second. Donnelly has it. Throw to first. In time. Collected by Nolan. One away. If this inning were to kind of spill over into the bottom of the seventh, the first three for Audubon would be Chester, McCracken, and Homa. So Wolf is retired. And here's the cleanup man, Lagarina. Changeup gets in there. 0-1. Audubon has two more scrimmages to play. The 26th and 28th versus Lenape and Triton will be there both games. Swing and a miss. Big whiff there from Lagarina. And it's 0-2. Stockland working efficiently in the strike zone and getting a lot of calls. Not that he's necessarily doing bad in any way. He's painting the corners and he's getting a good benefit of the doubt, to say the least. I mean, you know, what Stockland's doing right now is good, but he's not always going to get away with it. That's the problem. Skips in. And it's 2-2. To Lagarina, the cleanup man for Clearview, with Andrew Prawn on deck. Misses inside, and he's back in it. It's 3-2. He went from an 0-2 count to a 3-2 count, just like that. And now he's going to try to give Clearview a late base runner here in the seventh. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks for Stockland. 2 down. Here is Prawn. He is 1 for 3 with a single and 2 strikeouts to his name so far. A lot of strikeouts on both pitching staffs tonight, as there's a swing and a miss by Prawn. 0-1. And again, we're kind of in deja vu here. We're in a very similar situation to what we had yesterday with Cherry Hill West and Gloucester Catholic, where we're in the top of the seventh, and Audubon is maybe unlikely to stage a 6-run comeback. I mean, hey, I've seen crazier things. We saw the Kingsway game. We saw the Timber Creek game. Crazier things have happened. But there's a curveball. You know, they're going to play until nobody can see anymore. And again, that window is somewhat narrowed when there's no sun out, because the sun will cast a shadow, and you know, if it plays in your favor, you'll be able to see just fine for a lot longer than you're going to see now. It's 3-1. Sunset on the weather app is listed as 7:14 tonight, but that would mean we have another 50 minutes, but I don't know. I mean, again, like I said, the philosophy has always been that they will play until they can't play no more. You know, you don't worry about the score. You just kind of play until there isn't going to be an opportunity to. So, you know, we were talking with Kevin Martorelli last night of Cherry Hill West, and one of the things that he said was that it's all about sportsmanship. It's all about getting the players at bats, Because it's not some sort of hostile rivalry in a scrimmage. These guys are just playing each other to get practice in. Going down to second, rounding second and holding there is Prawn for Dom Abate. So he advances to second on the wild pitch. And it's a 1-0 count. Misses 2-0. Still the same lineup in the infield with Nolan, Donnelly, Wiltsey, and Calandros making up the infield. Although a slight change in the outfield with Stockland pitching. That's Chase Bozarth in left. Stockland picks up the throw. Nolan gets him, and the side is retired. So a 1-3 ground out ends the top of the seventh. It looks like we will have time for one more half inning, but Audubon has a lot of work to do if they want to get it done before sunset. We'll be right back. The green and gold are back, but unfortunately they are losing to the green and gold. No, this is not an inter squad, but Clearview leads 9-3, going into what probably will be the final frame of the afternoon. Just past 6:20 p.m. here at Audubon as first batter for the Green Wave is going to be Connor Chester. The 6'4" lanky freshman who had an RBI double earlier in the ballgame, brought home the third and so far final run for Audubon in the bottom of the fourth. As we said, our next broadcast will be Tuesday versus Lenape in more Audubon baseball preseason action. Takes another one right down the pipe, and it's 0-2. For the Green Wave in the seventh, it will be Chester, McCracken, and Homa to bat. 0-2. Oh, what a slider. It diced him up. One away. Clearview's pitching staff has recorded their 10th strikeout of the afternoon. So we do have a pinch hitter here, and it is Colin Filippi. He is pinch hitting for McCracken. With Gio of Clearview here facing Filippi. Takes inside. 2-0. Filippi's been manning center field for a couple of innings now. Hasn't had anything really come to him, unfortunately. Everything's kind of been hit into the corners for Quinn and Stockland, and of course now for Bozarth. Oh, the ball got away on the return back to the mound. Trevor Donnelly is on deck, the class of 27 freshman. One of a few freshmen that are involved with the team this year, along with Chester. And that is a 4-pitch walk. Never say never, kids. I mean, hey, in all fairness, it's not unreasonable. It's a 6-run game. Crazier things have happened. We've seen more egregious comebacks in even the times that I've been broadcasting, like in the South Philly Pirates versus Aston Valley game back in last September with the travel baseball scene. 1-0 the count, with Trevor Donnelly getting his first high school at bat here. Second baseman here for the Green Wave. Takes a strike, 1-1. Donnelly, the younger brother of Trevor Donnelly, who is right now running track and field along with his girlfriend Ava Rizzo at Rowan University, part of their track and field crew. That one's high. 2-1. And Rowan's actually been top in the charts with track and field lately, breaking a national record for the 4x400 meter for the relay race. Donnelly puts 110% into that one, and it's foul.
Yeah, so they're saying they can't really see it.
Yeah, so Clearview's outfielders were just talking about how it is hard to see with not just the limited visibility, but also the cloudy skies. That has always made it difficult, and it's really not great here in Audubon for visibility. We've seen a lot of dropped fly balls just from the fact that that's what happens on a cloudy day. Donnelly grounds it out to second base. This could be 2. They're going to throw. He rolls over, and Donnelly is safe on a fielder's choice. So Filippi is out, but Donnelly gets aboard. And this now brings up Tommy Quinn. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. It's time for the last call in a 9-3 game on a 4-3 fielder's choice that Donnelly reached on. First pitch rocketed down the third base line. Caused a whole bunch of people to go jumping in the Audubon dugout, but it is 0-1 to Quinn. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts tonight. One to the junior Tommy Quinn. Skips in, ball gets trapped behind the plate, and it's 1-1. One and one the count. Hit the other way, and it's foul. 1-2. And this could do it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Clearview, after an unenthusiastic loss to Woodstown yesterday, they are looking to come back in and take care of Audubon in what would, even for scrimmage standards, be somewhat of an upset. They put up 6 runs in the 4th inning, haven't had any offense in the 5th, 6th, or 7th. Everything's kind of come to a halt. but the score is held the same at 9-3. Clearview's man kicks and delivers. Outside, 2-2. So he'll stay alive for another pitch. 16 pitches this frame for Gio. With a 6-run comfortable lead, Donnelly trailing off of first versus Tommy Quinn, who has struck out twice this afternoon. The 2-2, that hit him.
Oh,
That's a plunker for Tommy Quinn. And he kind of tossed the bat a couple of feet up in celebration, but he actually he apologized to the umpire, like, I didn't mean to do that. That was hilarious. So Quinn reaches Donnelly to second, and here is Chase Bozarth. Ball one. Two runners on, 2 men out. Bozar swinging out of his shoes. It's 1-1. Woo! Clearview's dugout is loving it. Nothing better. Nothing better. 1-1 the count. To Bozarth with Donnelly. Oh, and that one's going to hit him right in the tush. The bases are loaded as Bozarth gets aboard. Back-to-back hit by pitches, and, well, they're not even going to give him another opportunity. That's the ball game. 9-3. Clearview takes the win in scrimmage number 2 for them, scrimmage number 1 for the Green Wave. Your player of the game, presented by Harper Driving School, will be Tyler Dell, who had 2 nice innings on the hill, gave up 2 runs in the first. None of them were really all much of his fault, but he walked, had 2 doubles, 3 RBIs on the day, and was incredibly productive in all parts of the field. That's all for us today here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. 9-3, Clearview takes down Audubon for their first scrimmage win of 2024. From our entire crew, my social media coordinator Anthony DePalma, our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, my producer Vincent Vogt, I'm Dan Wilkins. Have a good, dry weekend. We'll see you